Your hell awaits you.
Hello and welcome back to the horror of video games. Today I want to talk about control schemes in video games. Now, the control in Resident Evil Remake is famously known as tank controls. Now, this kind of control is based off the player's viewpoint or relationship to the camera. Some people may say this type of control is very clunky, it's very hard to use, it's slow, it's unresponsive, it's a bit archaic, maybe. To a certain extent, I would agree with these statements. I think tank controls are old. I think they're slightly old-fashioned, I'd say. But I was starting to think about this theme of tank controls and how do controls affect how you feel in video games. For example, if we were to compare Resident Evil Remake against Alan Wake, for example, and how those control schemes affect the player. Now, one simple test I wanted to pose to you guys is the fact that if you play 5 minutes of Remake, you play that game and you kind of play with those controls, and then minutes after that you play something like Alan Wake or Gears of War or something, a game which has amazing sense of freedom of movement in those games, and you see the contrast in how you feel. Now, for example, with the tank controls in Remake, you feel trapped, you feel claustrophobic because the controls are almost suffocating you, the controls are fighting against you. It's not just the camera angles, it's not just the brown walls and everything falling apart and the zombies and the hunters and everything. It's not just those elements within the game which are suffocating you, it's the very control schemes as well. It's the control scheme sort of fighting against you, it's trying to hold you back and prevent you from freely moving as you'd like to around the mansion. With a game like Alan Wake, you can go left, right, forward, backward, you can jump, you can dodge, you can throw grenades, you can run, you can walk, you can do all these kinds of movements freely, easily, no problem. You can dodge around enemies, you can jump, and this fantastic feeling of freedom you have in Alan Wake to just explore the environment. This freedom is not present in Remake. It's very kind of, you're trapped within the confines of the corridors, there's no freedom, and also this goes back to what I'm talking about with level design, how you're just trapped within the corridors. There's no open spaces in Resident Evil, it's all corridors, you're trapped all the time, so the level design is trapping you, and the camera angles are trapping you, and the control scheme is trapping you. It's just all claustrophobic and horrific, and it's just completely bombarding the player all the time, just constantly harassing the player with these confining game mechanics. I'd be really interested to know what you guys think. So, like I said, if you just play a bit of Remake and then you play any other game where you have freedom of movement, my point is that these control schemes will make you feel differently. They will make you feel, one will make you feel more confined, and the other one makes you feel free. And it's interesting to me, really, that with Remake you have these confining controls, and then that's combined with the confinement of the level design. This contrast in control schemes have an impact on how the player feels and how the player interacts with these games. So I think what I'm saying is that the tank controls of Resident Evil is actively contributing to this feeling of suffocation, this feeling of claustrophobia throughout the game. The control scheme is not just a passive part of the game. The tank controls are actively going against you. The controls are actively confining you in the same way the level design is, in the same way the camera angles are. So when you think of Resident Evil, you think of zombies, you think of hunters, you think of the mansion, you think of this, that and the other. But I think it's also important to bear in mind that it's the controls which make you feel like this and exerts this feeling of dread when you play it. I think when I see discussions on Resident Evil, that of course tank controls are mentioned, but they're not specifically talked about in the sense of it's contributing to the horror of Resident Evil. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. You can tweet me at thehorrorofvg, or you can see my blog at thehorrorofvideogames.com. See you next time.